Hello students, welcome to today's tutorial on biomedical waste handling and management rules. So coming to the table of contents, today I will discuss about biomedical waste. So what is biomedical waste? What are the various sources from which this biomedical waste is generated? What are the problems associated with biomedical waste? Biomedical Waste Management Rule 1998, color coding system for segregation of biomedical waste, which is the most important step in biomedical waste management. That is a color coding system for segregation of this biomedical waste. Then various disposal methods that are available for biomedical waste, and a case study of Ramke and Vero engineer. They have a REEL system where they manage this kind of biomedical waste. So we'll have a highlight on that particular system also. So coming to biomedical waste, so what is biomedical waste? So waste generated during the diagnosis, testing, treatment, research or production of biological products for human or animals. So according to WHO, this is the definition given for biomedical waste. So any kind of waste which is generated during diagnosis system, testing, treatment, research or production of biological products. These waste which are produced are known as biomedical waste. So coming to a little bit of statistics, so WHO, the World Health Organization, it estimates that 85% of the hospital waste is non-hazardous. Okay, 10% of it is infectious and 5% of it is non-infectious. So the most important part which has to be highlighted here is the 10% which is infectious. So that is the major concern. So this has to be treated in the most sophisticated manner, whereas the 85% of non-hazardous waste can be treated with some options like recovery, resource management and all that. Whereas 5% non-infectious again need not be so tedious treatments. But 10% infectious which is there, that has to be given proper treatment. Coming to the sources of biomedical waste, there are some major sources and minor sources. Coming to the major sources, you can see hospitals, labs, research centers, animal research centers, blood banks, nursing homes, mortuaries and autopsy centers. So these are the major sources which produce a lot of biomedical waste. And coming to the minor sources, we have clinics, we have home care systems, we have cosmetic clinics, paramedical systems, funeral services and institutions. So these are the regions where you get some minor sources of biomedical waste. But the most important thing is the major sources. So this has to be taken more seriously, and biomedical waste has to be managed in these particular areas in a proper manner. So coming to some understanding about who are at risk if biomedical waste is not managed properly. First of all, the sanitation workers, the workers who are working in this particular field, they are in trouble. Then coming to medical and paramedical staff. So since the biomedical waste is managed by them at the initial stages, they are at risk at the initial levels. Then coming to patients and attenders. So they are also at risk. And finally, the public. So this is the risk pattern. Coming to the problems associated. So we know most of this biomedical waste will have organisms in it. So coming to some examples given, which is highlighted here. So viruses, a lot of viruses can be present, and these viruses, if present in this biomedical waste, can lead to various diseases if not managed properly. So a highlight on those diseases has been given there. You can just have a look at it, and related waste items which can lead to this particular diseases because of the presence of particular organisms in that biomedical waste and which was not treated properly is highlighted there. Infected needles, body fluids, human excreta, soiled linens, blood and body fluids. So these are the waste related items which can lead to these particular organisms presence in that material and which can lead to these diseases. So we have to take utmost importance of managing this biomedical waste in a proper manner. Coming to bacteria, okay, even bacteria can be present in this biomedical waste. Coming to Salmonella typhi, Vibrio cholerae, Clostridium, Pseudomonas, Streptococcus, examples of few systems there. So these also can be present, and that can again lead to a lot of diseases. And the related items which can lead to these diseases are human excreta, body fluids, sharp needles, surgical blades, hospital waste. So all these are biomedical waste. So this all waste has to be treated properly. Apart from viruses and bacteria, again there are parasites also which has to be taken utmost importance. And you can see again the related waste items which can lead to these parasites presence in biomedical waste. Okay, so that is again blood, body fluids, excreta and hospital waste. So coming to the biomedical waste management and handling rules, this came into existence in 1998, and again as I told you there will be amendments, so it was amended in 2000. Okay, so according to this, the rules apply to all persons who generate, collect, receive, store, transport, treat, dispose or handle biomedical waste in any form. So all institutions generating this waste must take all necessary steps. Okay, all necessary steps should be taken so that this biomedical waste is handled properly, so that it does not affect or does not lead to impact on health and environment. So that way you have to manage the biomedical waste properly. So coming to a flowchart of how a biomedical waste can be managed properly. So starting with hospitals, so generators. These are the major generators. Hospitals is one place where a lot of biomedical waste is produced. So apart from the biomedical waste, they produce even wastewater. So the wastewater from the hospitals are also not safe, because there can be a lot of organisms present in it, and that can, if again not treated properly, can lead to a lot of pandemic diseases like cholera, typhoid, and etc. That is why that also has to be treated properly. Wastewater treatment facilities has to be generated there, and that way you can treat the water of hospitals, and then the treated water without any organisms can be reused for some purposes like toilet flushing, gardening, etc. Coming to in-house segregation, that is the major task, segregation of biomedical waste. So there you have the color coding system. So I'll show that color coding systems in my next slides, but you just have an idea that the waste will be segregated based on color coding. So based on that, after segregation, the common storage points will be there where the hospital stores this particular waste, and then there will be some approved biomedical waste management systems. So they will transport your biomedical waste. So they have the specialized vehicles also. They will transport your biomedical waste and they will take it to their treatment facility. Like one example I gave you, Ramki Enviro engineers, which are doing this job. So they will do the transportation, they will do the treatment. So in treatment, they might give some treatment like incineration, they may give some treatment like autoclaving, because this is very, very important in case of biomedical waste, either incineration of biomedical waste or autoclaving. Okay, because we know there are a lot of organisms which are present in this biomedical waste, and if not treated properly, it can lead to a lot of pandemic diseases. So to avoid that, a lot of autoclaving is done so that the organisms present in the sample, that is the biomedical waste, are killed properly, and once they are killed, only it is sent to the landfill. So that is the final disposal system, that is the secured landfill, engineered landfill. So this is the color coding system what I was highlighting. You can see there is yellow, red, blue, black. Okay, so these are the color coding systems, and based on that, what type of containers should be used for storing this kind of biomedical waste, and waste category numbers. This more detail about this you can just Google biomedical waste management rule. So there you will get a detail about what is this category 1, 2, 5, 6, and what kind of material can be stored in that particular yellow bin, what can be stored in red bin. So all that details you will get more information in biomedical rules, but here you can just have an idea about what there is a categorization, and based on that the waste is segregated. So in the red bins you can see they have written waste sharps. All the sharp materials like your needles, syringes, all that comes under red category. And then you have a certain chemical waste that comes under blue category, and whatever municipal waste is generated by hospital that come under black category. So that goes to municipal waste management site. Whereas other things, few of it might go for incineration units, few of it may go for autoclaving units. So based on that, more details about this you can get in biomedical waste management rules. Coming to the segregation, little bit more detail have been highlighted in this slide. You can just have a look at it. So you have two type of waste. One is the infected waste, one is the non-infected waste. So if it is non-infected waste, you can put it in black bins. Okay. So here you can see there some kind of chemical treatment will be given, and finally it will be secured in the landfill. Okay. But if you have certain infected waste, if it is soiled waste like your infected dressings, you have certain materials which is contaminated with certain materials. So all kind of those material will go to red bin. If you have certain anatomical waste, some kind of body parts and other things, that will go to yellow bin. If you have certain infected plastics, syringes, gloves, etc., that will go to blue bin. And if you have certain sharp materials, it will go into the white bin. So in this way, you have the color coding system, and you can see some kind of treatment steps have been highlighted there. Like if it is red bin, they go for autoclaving systems. If it is yellow bin, they go for deep burial systems. If it is blue bin, they disinfect it with certain disinfecting agents like chlorine. And even the white bin, same way they do it. And finally, they use it for sharp pit, or they use recycler units. So these are the treatment facilities that they give for all this kind of systems. So there is segregation here. You can just have a look at it again, non-infectious waste and infectious waste, and they have the categorization further, and then they have the color coding systems for segregating this waste properly so that proper attention is given to the particular type of waste and it is managed properly. So coming to the disposal methods, as I told you, we have incineration, we have chemical disinfection, we have inertization. This is nothing but making the material inert so that it does not interact with anything, and then disposing it in landfill or something like that. Then you have autoclaving, I told you, for killing of organisms. Encapsulation is one technique where they try to close that material with something else outside, okay, encapsulating it. But this is not that safe because there is a chance of it coming out and then leading to problems. Microwave is again similar to autoclave system where you try to kill the organisms. Then you have shredder systems to making it into fine particles so that it is properly landfilled and the permeation or the rate of permeability is reduced in the landfill. That is to reduce the leachate problems. Okay, so that is why shredding and then introducing it into the landfill is also tried sometimes. Then coming to pyrolysis system, this is similar to incineration systems. Pyrolysis is done at a temperature, some other temperature compared to incineration. So plasma is used here. Okay, this is a different system, plasma pyrolysis, where plasma is used for pyrolysis. This is the fourth state of matter. Then deep burial systems are also followed. These are the various treatment options which are available for biomedical waste. And giving you a highlight on Ramky and Vero engineers, in the last tutorial I've shown you that they are working on hazardous waste also. Apart from that, they are also working on biomedical waste. Okay, so REEL, they have a unit which is working only on biomedical waste facility. Okay, and this started in 2000. Just in 2000 they have started this, and now this becomes a consultancy company. So they will do the picking up of your waste facility. They will do the tagging, proper tagging. If you have not done in the hospital, usually hospitals do it. But if they don't do it properly, again these do the proper tagging system, transport it, and they do the proper treatment of those particular waste and then final disposal of it. So most of the pharmaceutical manufacturers and biotechnological companies which have a lot of rejects or expired products, even those can be managed by this REEL facility, apart from hospital waste management. Okay, so that is how by managing this properly, you can avoid the contamination into the environment and also reduce the health impacts of this particular waste. So there are 30,000 plus customers. So this Enviro engineers, the Ramky Enviro engineers, they have a lot of customers which are getting benefited from this company. They have more than 20 facilities of this biomedical waste management. They have managed like approximately 2,67,000 tons of medical waste as per now. So till date they have managed so many tons of biomedical waste, and they have again some 18 to 19 years of experience in managing this kind of biomedical waste. That is how they know exactly the know-how of how to manage biomedical waste, and they're doing it in an effective manner. So that is how a case study I've highlighted here on Ramky and Vero engineers, guys. And this is how they are trying to manage the waste. You can just have a look at it. So marketing and requirement assessment. So first, if you want to Ramky to do this job for you, you have to register in their online facility, and then they will give you some training regarding what kind of biomedical waste is yours, like a little bit training of what kind of waste they are managing and what facilities do they have. So all the details will be discussed between the whatever company wants to get it biomedical waste managed and Ramky. So once that is done, they do an agreement of managing your waste, and then they start coming and collecting your biomedical waste. So imagine it's a hospital which has done this facility, then Ramky will come and collect the waste from your particular hospital, and then they will take it to their facility where they'll unload it. So once it is unloaded, they do the segregation based on the color coding systems, and effectively they send it to various treatment facilities. Like one of the color coding, if it has to be treated by incineration, they send it to incineration units. If some color coding system has to be sent to the autoclaving, they send it to the autoclaving system. So they have all these facilities in place. So using that facility, they will use for treatment of the biomedical waste in more sophisticated manner. And if something can be recycled out of it, like plastics and other things, that will be sent to the recycling units. And finally, if there is some waste which cannot be used for any purpose, that will be sent to the landfill. That is the secured engineered structure for managing biomedical waste, okay, sanitary landfill, where they will be shredding it properly so that the permeation is completely not there, and that is how they manage it in the landfill. So this is how generally the biomedical waste management is done at Ramky. Thank you for watching, guys. Do subscribe the channel for more updates.